Hello everybody, my name is Ben Fricky. I'm a junior at Mount Pulaski High School, and I'm here to give you the 411 on how to catch. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the gear. It's the number one priority to be safe in the game of baseball, so it's important to have the right gear and to wear it the correct way. First off, we have the mask, alright? Its main goal is to keep your head safe. Then you have the chest protector. It keeps your chest safe. And then you have the shin guards. These are my favorites right here. Now the glove is another very, very important tool. It can either make or break a catcher. Now that I'm suited up, this is what it should look like. First I have the mask. This is a hockey style mask. You either have that or a baseball style mask. I use this because it's a lot easier to get onto my head and take off. Also, it fits with my sunglasses when I put them on in the games. I don't use a two-style mask because they fall off all the time, and when you're throwing down to second, it just gets in the way, all right? So second off, we have the chest protector. You just fasten it around the back, and you make sure that it's up against your chest, not too tight, but not loose. All right? You want it to have some give, but you don't want it to be solid like a rock, all right? Lastly, you have the shin guards. They should be put on just like so. I know Easton, they have logos on the outside. That's how I can tell which one goes on which foot. Also, some of them have left and right. They say it on the inside. And lastly, for the shin guards, when you put them on, just make sure they're comfortable. I just take the straps, and on the lower ones, I make an X. That's more comfortable for me. But some people, they just put them across, so it's whatever. One thing I didn't mention to you is the most important part of your gear. It's the cup, all right? Without the cup, you're putting yourself in harm's way. I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't wear the cup, you risk a lot of things. It's always in harm's way, so do your best to keep it safe. So first I'm going to talk to you about the setup, all right? There's 3 different types of setups. The first type of setup is the calling position, all right? It looks just like this. You should be in an athletic position, but you should also be very comfortable, all right? When giving signs, you do not want to be tense. You want your back to be straight up, or as close to it as possible. You want your knees to be about parallel to the ground, and you want your knees to also be facing your right one to the pitcher and your left one to the shortstop. The only people that should be able to see your signs are the shortstop, the pitcher, the second baseman, and the outfielder, but he ain't going to be able to read them anyway. So, first thing when calling a pitch, you always put your left hand, your glove hand, against your left leg, all right? You do not want the other team picking signs. You always take your right hand and you put it as close to your crotch as possible. You're really just shielding your cup here, all right? Look back at the hitter, make sure he's not stealing any signs, and you give him the sign whatever you're calling, all right? So after you have given your sign, you want to get into a comfortable position to catch the ball, all right? You want to be in a staggered position. Your left foot should be in front of your right foot, all right? My right foot, this line, it's going just along that line, and this left foot, it's pointing almost to the shortstop, third baseman, in between there, all right? You can be like this, but I find it's just uncomfortable. It's also easier to throw down to second base when you're in a little bit of a staggered position. And you want mainly your heels to be on the ground. That's one thing I see out of a lot of young catchers is they're like here and their heels aren't on the ground, all right? You need to be in a good position. If a ball hits you the wrong way, it might fall back. You need to be in a sturdy position. Your butt needs to be as low as possible, and when giving your signs, or when you're receiving the ball, you want your glove as low as possible to give them the target. If you're calling an upward pitch, there's different scenarios for this. Obviously, you don't put your glove there. When you're in this position, you should be able to tap the back knee of the hitter. That's about how far back you should be. Now, it's going to look like you're very close to them, but in all actuality, you're really not. That's about the perfect position for that. So that was the primary position. The secondary position is just a little bit different. You always use the primary position unless under these circumstances. There's a guy on base, or there are 2 strikes with the guy up to bat, all right? You are always in the secondary position when there's 2 strikes, because if he swings at a ball and it hits the dirt, you have to be able to block it, and it's a little bit harder to do that in the primary position. You need to be able to throw down to first and give yourself the best chance that you have, all right? And when there's a guy on base, you should also be there because you don't know what the pitcher's throwing. They're very decisive. So here's what it looks like. So this was the primary position. The secondary position, your butt is not as low to the ground as possible, all right? You get your butt about parallel with the ground. You want it to be up more, just like this, all right? To do that, you just raise up. You need to build strength within your quads. That was a big thing for me coming up as a catcher. I didn't have much strength in my quads, but it's just something you need to work at, all right? So once you're up there, the whole point is to be in a position where you can block the pitch at any time, all right? That's really the main reason for that. And you're also ready to throw out any guy that tries to steal on you. So those are the 3 positions for catchers. Next, I'll be going over hand position for those 3 setup positions that I just told you. All right. So first, when you're calling your sign, I went into a little bit of depth of this. You always put your hand as close to your leg, the middle of your legs as possible. You keep it tight, and your signs, you just give them. All right. Your left hand should always be down here or resting somewhere. All right. In the primary position, what your hand should be doing is just out of harm's way. If you don't have this hand, you can't throw anybody out, and you're really useless behind the plate. And plus, if you don't have your right hand, you really can't hit either. So, with your right hand, there's multiple things that you can do with them. I wouldn't put it down here because foul tips can still hit it. I put it right up against my back, like this, when I'm catching. That's just most comfortable for me. And then I catch it, do whatever. Secondary position, this is a little different. You're putting your hand a little bit in harm's way, but it's really not bad. I've never been hit there in my secondary position. You need your hand to be ready to throw anybody out or to get behind your glove to block, all right? We'll go into that later on our blocking segment. So when you're in your secondary, first of all, I should have my mask on. I put my hand right here, right under my chin, all right? I've never been hit there, and usually if the ball would hit it, it's just gonna hit this. But that's never happened, and when you catch it, you have to throw somebody out, your hand's right there to make the transfer. So that's where you should place your hands. The next thing I'm gonna talk to you about is positions. I already told you primary, secondary, those are the most comfortable ones, but here's some other ones that you can use if you find yourself in some situations. Now, these next ones, you're not going to want to do them with people on base, all right? This is just, you want to call it fastball low, outside, low, inside. You're just trying to be comfortable. Maybe save your knees. The first one, you just drop one leg, all right? So you put this one on the ground, and you put your other one straight up like this. You bring your chest as close to your knee as possible, and you keep your head low and tucked so that your neck is not showing at all. All right? You give your sign wherever it is. You can do that exact same thing with the other leg and do whatever. All right? The next one, I call them leg outs. You just drop your leg out and you give your sign. All right? This is for low fastballs. I wouldn't do it on any off-speed pitches because you risk getting hit where you don't want to get hit where the sun doesn't shine. So you can do that the other way also. I wouldn't do it for anything other than a fastball, and you just cannot get up to block it or anything else, but those are some of the most extraneous ones that catchers use. So the last segment of this video is pitch calling. So pitchers are very wild. Everybody knows this, especially at the younger ages. You really start to get control past high school, college, professional leagues, but just be ready to block anything. But pitch calling, I've already gone into a little bit of depth of that. You obviously put your hand right in here. First thing you can do with pitchers is outs plus one, all right? So outs plus one is, say there's 0 outs. It's the first sign, so fastball outside, all right? Say there's 2 outs, outs plus one, so 2, 1, 2. It'd be the third sign because it's outs, 2 outs plus one, third sign, all right? You can do that with your pitchers. The next thing is body signs. If you see that doesn't matter where you're putting your legs, they're still stealing signs. You can always do body calls with your hand motions. That's when you tap something else. Say you make these up, fastball, curveball, changeup, whatever it is, and then you can go back into these. Also, if it's a dark night, keep some fingernail polish in there. You know, some paint stuff, like a neon color to paint your nails, so the pitchers can see the signs. I know I've been crossed up multiple times because of this, and I've been hit multiple times, and it also doesn't look good when people crush the ball off of your pitcher when that wasn't the sign you called. It just looks bad on us. So be clear on that. That's about it. So thanks for listening. I hope to see you guys next time.